Good morning, warriors. Hope you are having a great day today. This is Wednesday, and this is, I think, May 11th, if I believe right, 2022. Hope you guys are on your plan. Hope you guys are doing well. This is a hot day in the Midwest here. I think we had like 80 degrees yesterday, 90 degrees. So it's kind of hot. Time for the air conditioners even. More early in the springtime here. But one never knows in the Midwest here what kind of weather you're getting. So, all right. So thank you for the subscriptions, likes, comments, donations. You guys are wonderful. Just keep going. Continue to let me know what we can talk about. I have a number of topics on the docket coming here in the next few weeks. Today I want to talk about getting your liberation from your memory. So getting liberated from your old memory. So this is an interesting one, and one that I think I saw a video on, a couple videos on, and talked to some people about. So I kind of want to delve into this a little bit. So if you're trying to look at the actual way that we can actually go ahead and stop these temptations. Remember, there's two things there, and I'm going to do a separate video on this one a little bit too. A separate video on this as well. And this goes back to a thought pattern here. There's only really two things you have to really concern yourself over. One is your memory. So we have a memory that we remember everything by, and that we keep those memories within our system. Now we also have imagination. The memory tends to represent more of the past, and the imagination can represent the future for us. Now the key, as we'll talk about in another video, as another topic, is the idea of living in the present and not really living in your memory or your imagination, either one of those two. And this is really kind of a key to what we're talking about here. But we live in memory, and we have to kind of liberate ourselves and get away from living in the memory. And how do we do that? Well, we live in the present. And we have to kind of keep thinking to ourselves, what are the goals I want to focus on? And there's times that I lose track, and I have to kind of refocus back to what are the goals you're looking for. I have these images on the wall. They're 3 images of 3 different biggest goals that I want to achieve, and those are the ones that I have on the wall. And so anytime my memory or my imagination goes elsewhere, I kind of focus on those 3 goals and try to refocus my thinking and my thoughts to cover those type of things. So when we look at the whole idea of getting away from your memory, we have to think to ourselves, okay, what causes this memory? Well, in our system, we have a short-term and a long-term memory when it comes to actions and behaviors that we've had over the years. And so all those type things are in our brain. I don't really think that they leave us. I think they may be covered up by other types of things that happen. And, some memories are revived in a certain way by certain things you do. But for the most part, those memories are there until something happens, and then you think of them. And so I don't think anything's ever lost. I fully believe it's really more of a matter that it's just blocked, and we have so many other memories that are more current that we don't always kind of get stimulated to remember those. But there's times where you can imagine you're sitting there and you're thinking about something, all of a sudden something flashes across your brain, and you say, I remember that. I remember that. Now sometimes you can't, and sometimes you can. It depends on how strong your memory is. But there's things that I have in my memories that I'm not sure how I kept, but it was there, and it still continues to think about it all the time. And the thing about memory is that you can actually kind of relive this thing over and over and over again. And And this is something you have to be very careful about. A lot of people relive their memories because to them it's almost like yesterday. And so when you're looking at your past memories, always make sure you try to realize and focus on the present moment. The past is gone. There's nothing else you can do about that. And the future is known to no one. No one knows what God wants you in the future. So all you have to do is kind of think to yourself, okay, I'm living each moment by itself, and then we'll see how it happens and plays out. And as this one person said, whatever happens, happens for good. And so you have to kind of consider that, keep thinking that way. But memories, are a big part of our situation, because what happens is that when we get into situations where we're bored or we're not focusing on our goals, it's easy to revert back to those memories that got us in trouble when it comes to viewing pictures or thinking about interacting with women, if you're a man, or a man if you're a woman, and getting away from those type of things that really we need to be focusing on. Remember, the whole idea of transmuting this energy is to focus on goals. But if you have no goals, if you have nothing to focus on, then it's easy to get caught back into things. And this is why a lot of people suffer, especially, whether they retire, whether they're bored, it's early, bored, or whatever it might be. What ends up happening is that they tend to not realize that those memories are holding them back. They're not focusing on goals, so now they have time to relive things in the past and think about things. And there's nothing wrong in meditation when you're just letting your mind go and think of things. You're going to reflect back on things that happen. But what you have to do, because you do want to correct mistakes that you made in the past, but you don't want to be dwelling on these things and reliving these things. And sometimes they can be painful to you, right? Reliving things that happened that didn't work out the way you wanted to, and now you're feeling that same pain over and over again because you're not trying to stop that repeating of those memories. So this is really an important type of thing, and you want to go ahead and, as I said, liberate yourself from past memories, because when it ends up happening is those memories tend to influence you in the idea of your present moment. And you don't want the past to influence your present moment. You want to try to stay away from that as much as possible. Keep the past in the past and keep the present in the present. And so as you think about these type of things, you have to try to refocus your thoughts. And so anytime you think that you want to go view a picture, or you're thinking about looking at a beautiful girl, and now, especially in springtime, with the weather so warm, you're going to see a lot of women dressed, very seductively, and there's a reason. They want your attention, of course, right? Like everybody does. But the idea is that you cannot give them the attention, because what ends up happening is that it takes away from your goal setting and what you want to do. And so you have to really be careful of those memories and what you're seeing in front of you to get away from achieving those goals and transmuting that energy. Because if you don't, you're going to fall back in the same old patterns that you've been in. And so you're not going to be, you're not going to move past that at all. And that's one of the dangers you see in these behaviors that we see with people who they relive things over and over again. And they're not really moving past it and kind of separating themselves away from it. So again, guys, the whole idea is that you really want to live in the present moment. And I have a number of different videos. I'm not going to make them too long because I want to just kind of get to the point of it. But the idea that you really want to do here is that you want to focus on your goals and keep those in the forefront of your mind. Keep those in the forefront, and then you're going to be able to then kind of say, all right, I'm going to focus on this. I know there's other things that are wanting my attention, but I'm going to focus on these goals, and move in this direction. And that's the case, then I'm not going to have to worry about all these past memories and imagination and, all relive these memories in the past. So once again, memory is something that can bring you some nice thoughts, ideas, but don't be dwelling on memories, especially negative memories or things that are tempting, things like that. Try to keep those blocked in your mind by focusing on something else. Remember, the mind can work only on one thing at a time. It can't work on two things simultaneously. So if you're able to think about goals, you're not going to have time to think about anxiety or releasing or anything like that, or watching pictures or doing anything like that. You're not going to dwell on that type of thing. And this is the best way to kind of get away from thinking about these ideas, is to focus on the present moment and what you're doing right at this moment. All right, guys, a good discussion. I think this is more of a practical type of thing, strategy, something to use to try to get your mind off of past situations, past images, things like that, and move forward. All right, guys, have a great day. Today is May 11th, 2022. Hope it's a great day for you, and God bless you, and battle on!